Earlier this month, the United Nations delegates, United Nations is coming into the mix again. I'm beginning to, from what we are beginning to see recently, we are beginning to believe that the United Nations has been weaponized. It's also a part that has been integrated into the Western system. I don't know how long it has been, but so far so good. When you look at the things that the United Nations representative have been saying, it's just so diabolic. Ladies and gentlemen, the United Nations delegates told the Security Council, that's the UN Security Council, that security across the Sahel. But ladies and gentlemen, let me get one thing straight ahead. Why is the Sahel always next to the thing that the United Nations representative are always saying? European Union or Sahel? Everybody Sahel. Why? They said that the security across the Sahel is deteriorating rapidly and the terrorist activity in parts of this region has intensified in a scale, complexity, and sophistication. Oh, man. Now, according to what they said, including through the use of drone. The question is, who is teaching them? Who is giving them these technologies? That's a big question we need to ask about, right? Our military did not even use drones before the terrorists started using it. So who is giving them that drone, right? The first place we saw the drone warfare was the Ukraine-Russian war, right? So the question is, if those were the two places where we saw the drone warfare being deployed at a full scale, the question is, who among these two nations have been complicit when it comes to transferring of these war materials to the Sahel? That's a big question that the United Nations Security Council, they are not looking at, but they are looking at what one representative from Africa is saying. Somebody who probably must have been paid. Through the use of drones, alternative internet communication. The question is, when did terrorists, common terrorists, when did they improve to this point? And they talked about increasing collusion with transnational organized crime. Ahuma Eziakongwa, that is the name of this United Nations representative. That's an African person. That's why I said probably they must have been paid. Majorly, most of these representatives, they are more like, they are more Western than they are African. So they said a United Nation, this Ahuma Eziakongwa is a United Nations Assistant Secretary General and African Director for the United Nations Development Program. You know who pays all those people? That is the diabolic aspect of it. UNDP. And I feel like these people are like, they are protecting their job. They are protecting the interest of the West. Because what is the United Nations? What do they represent in Africa? They represent the West. It's the same thing. Nobody can convince me. Probably this person that I've just talked about, all his kids, or our kids, our wife, everything, they will be in UK or Canada or somewhere. Right? Not like people that like us that want to remain here till the day of our disappearing. We don't have it. Me, I don't have interest. Even if I have all the money in the world, I don't have interest in going to any other country. Restore peace in our country, and some of us, we never ever want to see what your country looks like. That is the fact. So, according to what they said, once that the security problem in the Sahel are beyond the capacity of the national government. That is the point. They want to make it look like the government can no longer control it. So it's just, everything is turning towards the same thing. They are funding it, like I've said before. They're using one hand to fund terrorism and using one hand to act as if they're trying to save the nation from terrorism. You can see what they're doing because they no longer have control over that government. That is what they want to gain. They know most African leaders are criminals, and when you give them money, they can sell their people. So, but this time around, and now they will have control over those leaders. But now they can see that these leaders, they are even beyond time. They are beyond the age that Africa is currently, because Africa is currently still living in the colonial period where you have colonial clerks all over the place. But you can see that these three presidents are different. They have over 99% credibility When it comes to how much that people can attest to their credibility, they have over 99%. Now, if they take it across Africa, I think they will have 100. If you cut out the enemy states, because we have enemy states in Africa too. Now, they said it's now beyond the capacity of the national government, and so global effort is needed. That is the point. They want to talk about the global support so that, let me tell you something. Before, 40% of the Burkinabe territory belonged to the government and 60% belonged to terrorists. No human being could step boots on the ground in those locations. So 40% now, when Burkina Faso now went from 40% to 72.8% territory. So they were able to regain about 32.8% territory for themselves. So that is a massive progress. Massive progress. Let me debrief some people that might be new to this channel, right? They've not seen us discover and uncover the plot of the terrorists and their disinformation campaign. So for those that are new to this channel, let me say this. Some of the videos you see terrorists in the city riding bikes, those are the territories that have not been conquered. And why have those territories not been conquered? Because the question is, where is the money? Where's the finance? Where's the funding of these terrorists coming from? For more than 4 years, 5 years, 6, where's the funding coming from? Where is the medical treatment? Because some of them escaped with bullet wounds in some of the minor skirmishes they have with the troops. So where is the medical supplies coming from? Where is the drug? Because the last one I saw being shot, I saw bandage on the leg. Well treated, right? So the question is, who is treating them? Remember when the last stronghold of the Islamic State was conquered in Mosul, right? What we saw was that they even had consultant orthopedic surgeon, among the terrorists. So this is a big organization. But the United Nations want to come and school us about what we know. They think Africa still live in the past. Thank God for so many independent platforms that is able to, educate a lot of Africans. Because of the education, the so-called education, the degree that people go to school to get is absolutely a big sham. But let's go forward. So this Ezia Kome, whatever the name he said, what matters though is that any help from external actors is well-meaning. She told CNN, look at the organization, the mainstream media is CNN, right, that works for a deep state, a Western deep state, fighting for the interest of the Western interests, fighting for the Western interests, right? All these things is the same. The United Nations, whatever, is all, subservient to the West, right? We are not promoting any kind of support in military side or security side that undermines human rights, irrespective of where it comes from. So now I'm going to say this, right? This is the same organization that said there are child abuse, there are human rights violation. Like, come on, man. Recently, this same United Nations had nothing to say when Bill Gates brought the so-called GMO insects, to come and, I don't know what they said Bill Gates wanted to do again. The same person that said, they can use contraceptives or whatever for people in Kenya that will keep them sterile for 8 years to control birth. But this same United Nations organization saw nothing wrong in that. And you have some governments who is subservient to the West that wants to come and tell us that whatever Bill Gates is doing is best. We've heard lawmakers in my country say, oh, it's better you eat GMO seed than not eating at all. That is it. You have people. Now, most of those people that are representing the majority in Africa, the so-called leaders, like they say, most of them, they have their families already in the West. So they are more scared. Do you get what I mean? So, and when you look at the threats that the West always make towards Africa, what is the threats? The worst they can do is to declare you persona non grata in the EU or in the US. The question is, the last time they took visa, they gave Nigeria a visa ban. We have the Minister for Foreign Affairs or something. No, there was a particular minister that was even begging with resources. Begging with the resources of the country. That we have rare earth minerals in so places. All for what? Remove the visa ban. So the question is, what is it about that visa? Now the bigger question, the deep question is not about the visa ban. It's about what assets have they stolen from the country and taken to the West. Because that's what they do now. They've even weaponized poverty to the point where, you know, when you convert $1 to your currency, you are like the richest man in the world. So now most of those people now save their money in dollars. So they don't even want their wealth to be touched at all. Like anything that affects the West affects them more than it affects their people. So you can see what Burkina Faso did. They told Bill Gates to stop it. Take your mosquito and everything, take it out of here. Don't bring that to this place. That is Africa. That is Africa for you. You have people, a so-called Western NGO person in Uganda that had no certificate, treating people out of 900 or 900 plus, over 100 plus patients died. What type of mortality is that? And that kind of person is working without license. At the end of the day, the person went away free. So every time they talk, through their nose, through their mouth, through anything, the first name you hear them mention is the Sahel. So the big question is, why are they so concerned about the Sahel? They said the security situation is depreciating in geometric progression. What are they even talking about? I still showed you guys what happened in Nigeria yesterday, right? When the citizens were running. That is even small. We have 200 people that were killed in Benue State. They were burnt inside. Like, we saw it. You can see like the crumbs of the people that have been burnt. And just that 200 is not the real score. They went to the market, they went to other places and creased people. But they don't give it that much publicity. We've had over 700 murdered in Benue in one day before. You want to talk about Zamfara? You want to talk about... what are we talking about here? But they always have a way of, you know, because those particular entities, they fulfill the Western interest. Oh, leave them. Touch not my anointed. They are the anointed of the West. But because we have people in the Sahel that are interested in the peace, progress, and prosperity of their people, oh, it's a crime. We've all seen that. It's not new to us. You know, the good side of this whole thing is CNN does not represent Africa. And I want you all to understand this now. I'm talking to the mind of those that are watching me. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to your mind. CNN, BBC, and their representative does not represent you. Those entities represent the West. Now they are speaking the Western interest indirectly, speaking for the Western interest. So just try to translate it mentally and let it ring in your head that they are telling you, right, that you need them even when you don't. Martial law can be declared in Ukraine. People can be kidnapped from the streets, forced into military recruitment against their own wish. Oh, it's heroic. But if it's in the Sahel, it's human rights violation. Double standard. So for me, I think that representative has been paid by the West. To the point that there was someone that was paid $100,000 last week on Twitter, the X platform, to organize some local talks among African people. $100,000. I can show you the bank statement. It's over here. Look at the picture of the man. gathering some group of people that were equally paid by the United States. We have the bank statement. This investigation has gone beyond all this local level. But when they speak, you think they're talking for your interest, but these people have been paid. I mean, that's just another nonsense that was being gushed out by another Western representative through their Western media. It is not our media. We don't listen to them. I can't remember the last time I read a CNN news. It just popped up on my main screen and I felt like, okay, let me read what was going on. And I saw this gibberish that they were talking, you know, and I know that this is what they tell their citizens. Whatever CNN say belongs to people that live in UK, Canada, and all those places. It doesn't belong to us here. We don't read your news. And we don't care about what your news is all about. Stop telling us that thing. Ibrahim Traore, Assimi Goita, Abdurrahman Chiani. Those are the three presidents. Duma of Botswana. Namibian presidents. There are great presidents in Africa, actually. They are great presidents, you know. I think Ghanaian president too is doing, that man true is for real, is doing his best. But every other president, for God's sake, every other president is a gash on the camel's back. Ladies and gentlemen, give me your opinion about what you think. You can kindly drop your opinion in the comment section below. You know, when I read news like this, I just get angry. I really, it really makes me mad that these people have the right to think they have the right to talk about us. You know, gone are the days where we look at everything these people say and everything they do, and we feel like, oh, it makes a lot of sense. No, it doesn't make any sense. When you look at the real picture of what is going on between Russia and Ukraine, what is going on in Israel, Iran, what went down in Palestine, you know, when you look at the West, you will know that these people they don't have the moral justification to talk about anybody. You know, the United Nations, ICC, all those people, they are subservient to America. Yeah, they gave a ruling against Benjamin Netanyahu. The man's money was frozen. And before you know, we don't even know if they exist or not. So they don't have the right to talk about us. So I have to say this, please, as long as you are African, at home or in diaspora, somehow, some ways our destiny are linked. Is linked. If Africa does not rise, black people will never be respected. Black people of African descent, because there are black people that are not of African descent. So guys, you can drop your opinion in the comment section below. It's your boy 72 Android signing out. Enough said, but before I go, yeah, this is going to be my only video of the day, because today I will be on a 24 hours call duty. After the call, I promise to see you straight away with some fresh news from the front line. Salute, much respect.